Welcome everyone to Feminine Fridays. I'm Laura Rubinstein here with the amazing Diane Halfman. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Laura. Great to see everybody.
Really great
Welcome
to
to
be
the
here.
weekend.
Yes, it's Friday again, so that's when we hop on here and we bring some light into your life and remind you of some really good principles and practices that come from the feminine power cards that are here in this deck. And just as a reminder, I pull a card each week, and we've been doing this for almost a year. And what's really interesting is there's 52 cards, and we've done 51 of them so far. So, we're getting really close to finishing the deck. And we have all these videos at Feminine Power Cards on Facebook. And on the pink side of the card is a principle, and on the blue-green side is the practice. So they're coaching cards, and they're deeper than you think. So today, I mentioned in the comments, what we're talking about is resourcefulness in one sense. So here's the principle. Drum roll, please. If you're ready, Diane, and everyone out there, welcome, welcome. You have everything you need to create anything you want. You have everything you need to create anything you want.
Absolutely.
So the practice may surprise you. It's actually got two things. It's got a smiley face, which is an affirmation, and then a contemplation, which is the heart. So the contemplation is the key. What do you want? What do you want? You need clarity on what you want first, right?
Yes.
Then it becomes easy. It really does. In my experience, I don't know about you. Once you're clear on what you want, it's easier to create it or attract it even, or receive it. The second part of that would be, how is your receptivity, right? So that's the second part of this, as a matter of fact, which is the affirmation that says, I now receive the abundance the universe offers. I now receive the abundance the universe offers.
Nice.
So what do you want? Contemplate that, get really super duper clear, then get ready to receive it. So if you're clear and you're ready to receive it, you have 2/3 of the way there. I mean, you have 2/3 of the ingredients, in my opinion. And then the how kind of naturally usually falls into place. Is that your experience?
Right. Yeah, I would say, kind of a follow-up question that I'm thinking is what's blocking your clarity? If you can't get to clear, to start asking some of those questions about what is happening. I know I've talked to a lot of different people, and sometimes, people are not feeling very clear right now because there's a lot of different things happening in the world, from health to world situations to, here a lot of times people will set in the beginning of the year, hey, this is my plan. And a lot of people feel hijacked with that plan. And so it may not be as clear as what you thought the 2020 was going to look like. So what are some of the things you're doing to get to that clarity?
And I think a lot of people think they're clear, but they don't know what they want. They know what they don't want.
Right.
And that's different.
Yes.
You are more powerful than you know when you're clear on what you want. And it's scary sometimes to think through that. So I recommend, go for getting clear on what you don't want, but then say, okay, well, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Great. Got that out of the way. Now, what do you really want?
Right. And I love that word, resourcefulness. I mean, it's such a powerful word because we do have all of those things in us. And I think even when we think we don't know it, we actually kind of do. And I think that's where either our mentors or our friends or the people who we surround ourselves with can sometimes help pull that out of us and see, why are we not stepping into that, or why are we not claiming that, or what's happening with that. And be okay that pivots, right? Because what you might have been clear on before may have had a shift. And so it's great to explore that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that resourcefulness in you is there with the clarity, and with your ability to receive, you can then fill in the blanks. Then you'll know, like you just said, there's questions to ask. Okay, well, yes, I want this and I'm ready to receive this. Now, how do I get it? Or who can help me? Or what am I missing that might bring this all together? And then you can ask, you take the brakes off when you're clear on what you want and when you're ready to receive. And I love that you say, bring in a mentor if you feel like you're blocked in really getting clear. Because, we take it for granted we should be clear. We should know what we want. But
Right.
there's a lot of layers to that, right? Have you found that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you might be clear on one part, but then discover another layer to it as well. I think that happens. And one other thing about resourcefulness is that sometimes we think that all the resources are something that we have to get from somebody else or that it is out there. I think what's great about a mentor or coach is they can help you uncover that resourcefulness that is actually already within you, so that you can then kind of unpack that and go, trusting yourself more to really utilize that
Right.
resourcefulness.
Right. And that's what I mean by you are more powerful than you know.
Yes.
When you trust that you have the resources to gain the clarity, to receive the abundance, to have what you want versus just not have what you don't want, or if I said that right. But anyway, and make it light. One of the things about Feminine Fridays is that it's about approaching your feminine in a very curious, honest, innocent way because it's the part of you that's authentic. It's been there forever. And if we clear away the cobwebs, it's pure, pristine, beautiful power, loving part, heart energy power for you to access. And that's a part of your resilience and your resourcefulness as well. So,
Mhm.
like we're trying to clear away the screen to that and unveil your magnificence and your power. At least that's the intention of the feminine power cards, is to get, take them out of the organza bag and get really clear on who you are in a very nurturing, loving, compassionate, beautiful way, gracious way, which
Mhm.
don't we all want that in our lives? Don't we want just the delicious experience of life
Right.
to unfold before us? And that's why I developed the feminine power cards, and that's why I am so grateful to you, Diane, for joining me here and being willing to talk about this, our
Yeah.
feminine essence, this place that I think has been shrouded a little bit, and we can just bring it out in the light, especially as we go into our weekends,
Yeah.
and settle into it. Take a bath or get a massage or give yourself a massage or treat yourself to something that feels really soothing and nurturing. Not like because
Mhm.
I deserve it, just because you're the queen of your own life,
Yeah.
in a sense that nobody else needs to know. Like just cultivate that for yourself.
Right. Well, my pleasure. And it's one of the reasons why I love using these cards for, my clients. And, you came to the retreat for us to work with people with it, because there's something about, that's why we do this here in community, because it's really nice to actually speak this out loud to somebody else and to get some feedback on it. And then also start noticing where are you and what are you doing and who are you with when all of these realizations happen? Like, do these things happen when you're in the shower or when you're on a walk or when you're with friends? I mean, I know, when you and I would go on some walks with some of our friends around the lake, we'd have at least somebody in our group would always have this like aha thing that they were trying to work through, or there was a realization. And so, this is tools that we're looking at to share, to see how is it you can bring that brilliance, that wisdom, the amazingness within you, and finding out what are the things that bring that out of you.
Yeah, we are overdue for a walk, by the way, so we'll have to put that on the calendar. But I love that, and I want to
Absolutely.
say thank you for the love and the likes that we're getting from Gail and Allison. Thank you for being here. And you brought up this walk, and I also want to bring up the power of we have to connect to our feminine can be boosted by things like that walk. Now, what does that walk do? It is an oxytocin booster, not just by the walking, but the connecting with the girlfriend thing. And what is oxytocin? Oxytocin is that hormone that's called the bonding hormone, right? And it's so important for women to have boosting that, because that will get you into that feeling of your power in the feminine energy. So when you connect with girlfriends and you're talking and you're sharing and you're being besties, that is oxytocin building. And how is that experience for you?
Yeah, it's funny. I love it because I think anytime you're moving your body, I mean, I call it like walk and talks, with friends. Carrie and I even do it in the neighborhood because when you are in movement, you are then opening up different, aspects of critical thinking versus creative thinking because you're moving back and forth between those things. And it reminded me of one of the things Todd Durkin talks about is get your dose. And he talks about it in terms of DOSE. When you are moving, when you're in exercise, the people you're around, that dose is your dopamine, the oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And that all happens with movement. And so it's just beautiful when you actually incorporate that with the people you're spending time with, and things shift. It's why when you come home from the gym or from a walk, or you're doing something, that you actually feel elevated
Mhm,
naturally.
mhm. And thanks, Kim, for the love. And what are you all doing to up your oxytocin? What is your dose? Uh, Feel free to add those notes here, because we want to share in collaboration. Collaboration is also an oxytocin booster. There's a lot of things, everything from an orgasm to just connecting with a girlfriend over the phone is oxytocin building, right? And even breastfeeding is oxytocin, and not like every woman doesn't have that opportunity to do that. So you have to find other ways. That connection with other girlfriends is so important. I know a lot of women, and I don't know if we've talked about this in another card, but try to, some men are better at this than others, but if we try to make our men our best girlfriends, it's not an effective strategy, because a lot of times they are just not up to the task. Not like they're less than, but that's just not what their MO is. And they are there for other things, and we bond with them in the other ways we talked about. But and it's not that they can't be people we confide in or do walks with or anything like that. It's just that when we have an expectation that they're supposed to give us this oxytocin boost, and that's not, you're thinking consciously, but we're supposed to bond with them like we bond with girlfriends. It's a different bonding we do with men, but we need the girlfriend bonding. So don't try to turn your spouse or partner that's, you know, into your best girlfriend if you're a woman trying to connect with other women to build your oxytocin. So, and there's probably a whole nother gender conversation that I'd have to think through a little bit more if we're talking other relations, like other pronouns, shall we say.
Right,
But
right.
I don't want to
Right.
dig myself into a hole there.
Right.
I'm just
Well,
talking.
in all relationships, you can be in your masculine and feminine, and how you relate with the people in your life is how you're going to show up. And, that's why it's so great to have so many different types of people in your life, because we connect with people on different levels, and we bring certain things out of people, and we give things to other people. And when we have that mix of friends and people in our life, that's where we get such a beautiful expression.
Yeah. And Kim is saying, loving this conversation. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we have the cards. So yeah, I'll show them again. Thank you for asking to show the cards. The cards come in this wonderful, beautiful organza bag. They're about 4 inches, and they're shrink wrapped inside. And the card today we picked, this is one of the last cards. Go ahead and go to Feminine Power Cards on Facebook. We have a video for the last 50 weeks with a different card on it. The pink side is the principle, the blue side is the practice. This practice actually is two. We have a contemplation and an affirmation signified by those symbols. So again, today's card, and they're deeper than you think. And this is like, I came out with these cards 13 years ago. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Really? And I worked on them 7 years for 7 years. Okay. So, but they keep coming back to offer me something. I keep them in my desk. I'll flip through them just when I'm needing to get back into the feminine. And this one is, you have everything you need to create anything you want. You have everything you need to create anything you want. So that's why we started out talking about you're more resourceful. How resourceful are you? You are inherently resourceful. If
Mhm.
you give yourself the opportunity to get clear and really distinguish and that's what this card is inviting you to do in the coaching side, right? On the practice side.
Yeah.
So, in fact, John Gray, the guy who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus, when I handed him this deck in 2007, when it was in the prototype form, and I said, can I show you something, is how I approached him. I saw him at an event, and it was the first time I met him. I said, hi, I'm Laura. I want to show you something. He said, sure. And I handed him my prototype deck, and he starts flipping through these cards, and he said, I love these cards. And then he said, they're like a relationship coach, having a relationship coach in your pocket. And he goes, can I buy a deck? And I said, quick. I would like, because they're prototype. I didn't really have. I said I had 2 prototypes. I said, how about if I give you a deck, and in exchange, would you be willing to? Can I quote you? Give me an endorsement on this? And he said, yeah. And I said, great, here, and he said, just email me what you want to quote.
Look how resourceful you were, Laura.
So, yeah, and I don't remember why I approached him. Maybe it was for an endorsement. I can't remember exactly, but I think I wanted, somebody who's also in the conversation of the feminine and masculine to see them and to get feedback on them. And it was just brilliant. So, yeah, thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, it was really, and so to this day, when I finally printed them, I then had an opportunity to see him again, and I gave him a printed deck, and, he's like, these are awesome. And you know what? It's a real affirmation. And I think it happened when I presented these cards to you. You flip through them and you go, I love these. Yeah. Right? Like, I can't tell you how many people's hands I put these cards into, and they go, I love this. I love this. I'm like, thank you. Definitely. Because it's very validating, number one, and it's great to have that kind of validation. But it means it's making a difference for people. So that's why we're here, to make a difference, to help each other, to encourage each other, and to be the positive light in the world. And I want to see more people access their light. And that's, and when I was having a hard time doing it, that's the way these cards came about. And I was in my, my evolution, my personal evolution, really deeply wanting to connect with my soul mate or find him. And I knew I had to go through something to do that. A lot of personal development. Anytime I learned a pearl of wisdom, guess what? It became a card. I actually had a bunch of index cards, and I wrote them on there. And then when I was in the midst of trying to grapple with life situations, I'd flip through them and I'd say, oh, that's the one I needed. Or if I couldn't find one, I knew there was something else to learn, and then it became a card. So,
it just came to me, like when I'm visualizing you like flipping through them, it's like pearls in a pinch.
Totally, pearls in a pinch. Yes, I love that. Ooh, I just got like the vision of a bowl of pearls, and like picking them out, and then somehow, I watch a lot of sci-fi, so somehow on a screen that doesn't even exist in the air comes the wisdom pearl you need.
I love it. One of those pearls just levitates up, the one kind of like the crazy 8-ball or something, right? The right one pops up.
Exactly. But that's what this deck kind of is. It's my crazy 8-ball for tapping into my soul and my wisdom. And I just had to bring them out. Normally in everyday life, I'm a marketer and I work with people on marketing. I'm passionate about doing that. But this was a passion project for me. In fact, I wasn't able to publish them, and I feel like I wasn't able to like emotionally and mentally publish them until a certain period of time. So I was already married at that time. Yeah, I was already married, so like a couple of years married. And my husband said to me, and this is how I knew I had the right guy. Well, I knew before that, but this was just another demonstration, was he said, this is a passion project. You have to do it, Laura. You cannot not do it. And it's not that he loves these cards. He likes the cards, they're fine. But he's like, he honored me and my passion. And he says, even if this doesn't make you any money, even if it, doesn't go anywhere, I see it's your passion and you need to get it out there. And then, I get that. That's why that validation is so important. So meaningful, not important. So meaningful to me about when people say, I love it. It means I put it out there to make a difference with people. And if they're loving it, They don't have to say that. Nobody has to say that. So hopefully it's making a difference. And I know we got to do it with your group in your retreat. Are you doing a retreat again? I mean, at some point?
Oh yeah, definitely. In some point, I mean, people are always asking, like, when people start feeling like safe and connecting, and however that is to them, I know that people will connect with that. I mean, I feel perfectly safe, and I'm ready to do it. And I think that when you set those intentions, that they just evolve into that. So
Yeah.
I definitely see that happening. And I think it's an important time for people to start really looking at, how are you being resourceful? What are you doing? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And there's so much negativity to be watched, whether it's, news or flipping through, that you have to, be instrumental in bringing positivity in your life, through positive events, or with friends, or listening to something like this. We would love for you guys to share, how are you going to be resourceful this weekend? Like,
Mm.
what are you going to do that you are going to get outside and just start, grabbing that internal wisdom that you have, and or something that you've been kind of maybe thinking in the back of your head. We want to hear about it. So make sure
I'm
you share that
thinking,
with us.
it makes me think, we started, before we started recording, I said, I feel really busy. I haven't even taken some time for self-care and some certain types of self-care. And I think I'm ready to get back in the bath, even though, I've been outside, and I will continue to go outside and do things. But that's kind of my place to be contemplative.
Mm.
And actually, I can't put my hands on a computer if I'm in the bathroom, right? Or the bathtub. It's just not a good idea. I've had people try that, and it hasn't
Yeah.
worked out very well for them. So
Yeah. For me, it's getting in my pool. So, my grandkids been coming over because of it being warm. And so just having the laughter and the connection.
that's a beautiful thing. Pools are
Mhm.
good. Water for the soul, or get into the ocean. I might put my feet in the ocean. That might sound good. All right. Well, we hope you are doing that. Thank you so much for the love, Terza, and Kim, and Gail, and Allison, and Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Um, from our hearts to yours, have a wonderful weekend. Be resourceful. Get clear on what you want. Take time to do that. It takes time. So, um, thank you again, Diane.
Thanks, Laura. Great being here with you and with all of our lovely friends. Mwah.
Okay. Bye for now. See you
Bye
next
bye.
week.